Just call upon you now, actually, to bless us tonight as we address the business of the city of Newcastle. Lead and guide us in all ways and bless us. And may we live our lives in ways that please you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
States of America, and to the republic, under God, indivisible.
In 2025, the Newcastle Public Works Authority order, first item on the agenda is roll call.
Carl Bell.
Here.
Gene Reed.
Here.
Mike D'Amico.
Here.
Mike Fullerton.
Here.
Marcy White.
Discussion possible action approval of the agenda.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Mike D'Amico.
Yes.
Mike Fullerton.
Yes.
Marcy White. Yes. Carl.
Yes. Item number 3 is citizens' comment. This is opportunity for any citizen to comment on any matter related to that is not on the agenda. My name is David Speaker, with all speakers are clearly said and addressed to the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person and 1 speaking opportunity. Board members will not respond to comments or questions. The chair will the comment period at his discretion, and prior authorization is required for distribution of materials or to approach. Seeing none, we'll move to item number 4, consent agenda. Is there any member of the board that requests any item on the consent agenda taken off and addressed individually? Agenda. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Mike D'Amico.
Yes.
Mike Fullerton.
Yes.
Marcy White. Yes. Carl.
Yes. Item number 5, discussion of possible action on any items removed from the consent agenda. No item. Item number 6, discussion of possible action approval of employee health, dental, vision, and life insurance plan. Vice President of NPWA. You get on with the very top of the agenda.
I don't know. That's a great way to start a meeting. To have to talk about insurance. So, I'm either at the front of those or the end of those. So
That was my
but I will be brief. Can you hear me okay? It's all pretty good news across the board. We're in a packet that's been put before you. Looks like this. I think you mentioned my name. I came up. My name's Todd Ledford. I'm with NFP, based here in Oklahoma City, or up there in Oklahoma City. For having me down. And hey, congratulations on making state playoffs in baseball. But they will be watching, so congrats on that. If you want to just flip open to what is labeled page 4 at the bottom of your page, when Kevin and team sit down, this is about a 2-hour meeting. I'll try to keep this 5-10 minutes or less. But what you're looking at there on the left center of your page, at the top of page 4, are the current benefits that are in place today. Across there, and you see the gray banner there to the left. That's kind of highlighting the plan design. You can see that currently there's $2,500 deductible, a $1,500 deductible mid-plan, and a $1,000 deductible buy-up plan. As you work it down into page 5, in the top banner, that's the total monthly bill rates. As you go into the center banner, that is the employer costs, also illustrated on the left side of the page. And then there in the bottom is the employee's cost on a monthly basis. Okay. Nothing that I think we as a council need to dive into extremely deep at this point. It is something that we went into great detail with the city administration staff. So if you want to go and jump, you can kind of look over the next couple pages. Ultimately, we're going to land on page 8. Page 8's what we are proposing the council approve this evening and move forward with implementation on July 1st of 2025. If you'll do me a favor, take your pen and you see option 1 in the top blue banner at the top, just put an X right there over the top of option 1. That'll help kind of for the sake of this conversation on kind of isolating and identifying what we're proposing to do. If you look at option 2, once again, we're in that blue banner at the top, you can see the plans that we're proposing you move forward with. There in option 2 is making your base plan a $2,100 deductible. So currently that's $2,500 Blue Cross. We're proposing that you reduce. Also reducing the total out-of-pocket exposure for those taking that base plan. We're also proposing that you reduce the copay both for primary care and for specialists. Currently in the base plan, that's a $30 copay for primary care and a $50 copay for specialists. Today we're asking for approval to reduce that to $25 on the primary care and $10 on the specialist. Combined total, when we think about the dual plan design that you're looking there under the banner of option 2 on page 8, the combined total monthly billing based on your current enrollment is roughly about a 25% increase annually. Okay, we're not asking you to approve that the city take a full 25% decrease in the rates. Instead, we're asking that you approve, as you move into page 9, that the city reduce their per employee per month rate from $571.96 down to $532.71. And that's roughly a 5% savings. We're looking at page 9 right there in the center under employer costs. See, that's a savings of about $45,216 a year. The important parts to note on this as we ask for this approval, it's not many times we get to stand in front of you and say, hey, you get to save some money and have a better plan design. But we do have that opportunity in front of us. So that says a lot about, you know, how the city's managing its plan and how the employees are being stewards of the plan. So that's what we have in front of you today from a medical perspective. From a pure city cost, it's about a 5% savings annually, equating to total billed savings of $248. Okay. Any questions on the medical? Once again, it's still maintaining Blue Cross Blue Shield's high-performing networks. We're not expecting any access issues, physician issues. Copays are improving. So really just a positive message altogether. Maintaining an Intro Oklahoma qualified plan for those that qualify. As we go into page 12 and page 13, and I'll kind of move this along, same format as we were looking at in the medical, you can see the 2 plans on the left under that blue banner that stay current, and then as you move right, it's the same plan design, same carrier there with Blue Cross Blue Shield. We're still maintaining some package approach discounting as we look at total cost. We did experience a little bit of an increase on the dental. That was due to utilization, which we think is a positive thing. We want your people going to the dentist. We want them maintaining their preventative care and addressing things as they need addressed. That total increase was 10% of the total billed rates. That equates to about $5,500 a year. We are asking for a $2.17 increase per employee, so that's increasing the city's contribution of $21.70. We're down there on page 13 in the middle, increasing it from $21.70 to $23.87, and that is an increase to the city of roughly about $3,000 annually. Okay. If we move on to page 16 and page 17, we're recommending that you maintain your vision plan with VSP. No change to the plan design and no change to the rates. So rate pass, no increase there. And that's kind of the story really for the rest of kind of what the recommendation. Page 19, the basic life insurance of $75,000. Once again, rate pass as well. You get into the voluntary life insurance back on page 22, page 23. maintaining that with Mutual of Omaha, no rate increase. So the only time an employee would experience any sort of increase would be as if they were moving age brackets. That's the kind of high-level shot. We do not currently represent you on your work site products, so I can't speak as to what those were. Rate increases or plan changes or any of that. We're offering, that's what we presented in front of you today. And once again, that option 2 there within the medical is the recommendation. I think what we've discussed collectively with your team and sets us up for another multi-year managing costs and still providing competitive benefits. Yeah, great. I mean, yeah, kudos to you all, though. I mean, listen, we no longer buy insurance. We're managing risk, and you're doing a fine job of it. So, kudos to the employees, and kudos to the staff, and making good choices all the way around. Let's just keep doing it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the business. Have a good day. Good luck and stay.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Good.
Number 7, discussion of possible action approving change name and service state level water service agreement between the city of Newcastle and the Newcastle Public Works Authority as supplier and Tribal Utilities LLC to purchase and use project code Tribal Utilities LLC, the rural water and sewer district number 9 in Plain County, Oklahoma as purchaser.
I spoke with representative from rural water. Anyway, they had to change the name once. I believe it was a DEQ requirement. Originally, they had to change the name, so they called me and said, we'll get this on there. Then we did a change to the contract, and then, of course, the shortly for water.
Second for approval by number 7.
Gene Reed,
Yes.
Matthew Amico,
Yes.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Marcy White, Ron
Yes. Item 8, discussion of possible action request for rural water and sewer district number 9 in Plain County, Oklahoma. Modification of the service availability water service agreement between the city of Newcastle and Newcastle Public Works Authority and rural water and sewer district number 9 in Plain County, Oklahoma. To increase the daily reservation amount from 13,860 gallons per day to 15,000 gallons per day.
I did have a conversation over this with the same representative that it is imperative that the booster station told me through email that it would be commissioned within an 8-week period, which is a couple of weeks ago now. So 15,000 daily, I don't believe is going to have much of an impact over the 13,860. But I would recommend going forward, if there's any other kind of increase that comes in, we deny it until that booster station is complete, if it hasn't been.
Probably not in the,
Question.
I saw your calendar.
Our request for this particular user is significantly more than that, but so there will be additional increases, let's say. But our major concern was that we kept adequate pressure for fire safety and other things in manhole space. So that's the reason why it's critical that before they increase very much, that they get that. One great thing.
It looked under construction, like actively they couldn't recently did this.
It's very close.
Yeah. And just say it out loud, even though we know this. They're contracted by water from us as though on the city contract, that's true. And we make money to keep up that line, which we also use for our own water. So they have to keep up our money.
It's the exact same cost for the charge both on city, and I changed all of the numbers to reflect that in the, as this name change took place.
Just wanted to say
But they
that.
did. Off of that.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Which helps us keep up the use of the line, but we use it too, so. Just wanted to say
Or, for the time, like Kevin and myself, the consultant did that, and that maintenance of the line into account, but it's all the way back to the bore, our pump system, the cost of maintaining and operating those pumps. It's the entirety of that 18 to 2044. It's part of that business part.
Used to be like that.
Do we,
We're in charge of that first.
So you know the customer, that
Yes, that's when he came back with the 8-week commission that we put in the service.
so, will that need to be mentioned in this transaction, or?
I believe I would. That's certainly for the city on this, but that's what, and I have it in email as well.
If motion is made with the agreement that they will provide that booster station not later than 8 weeks.
Has to be inspected, and they have to contact our water super. And then the booster station, once we accept it and it's done, it actually becomes the city's.
oh, they turn it over to
So
us.
that inspection date can be,
The flip side of it, how you, what if they did, when we catch that within that amount of time too, I try showing that, I always wonder like, what if that 8 weeks passes and we haven't thought about it yet, we haven't got something in place that will make sure that happens.
It was just here, our superintendent.
Where you're headed, I think we don't have any recourse once we approve. What we do is we can go back and charge them the penalty rate. In terms of the agreement to increase their reservation.
is there an immediate need right now for the
No, apparently they have more than the 13,860 that they've been building out there, so.
But they're paying overage by using it too.
They are.
I mean, it's gonna be cheaper for them, but we could still,
Now, if they don't meet the terms of the agreement,
Right.
I can penalty rate, which is,
we don't give them a pay rate, we give them penalty. Yeah, I
I
think
think
it's easy
just getting it articulated in the motion, I think at least we can kind of put some things around.
they can pull almost much they want to pay that penalty rate.
Yeah.
Well, I'll move to approve item 8 with stipulation of the commitment of the customer to have the booster station installed within 8 weeks. And operation.
You say, oh, gotcha, I see.
Just because now, maybe just
Case it's for the nose arc
we
again.
can start, we can start it from that rate.
Go ahead and
In
get
the
it.
condition that the customer, the client, the customer will have installed and have operational the booster station within 8 weeks.
From now. Okay. I'll send it back. Okay. Yeah, okay. Todd Golden,
Yes.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Marcy White, yes, Tom Hill.
Item number 9, discussion of possible action discussion about the resolution number 2025-02 for adjusting water impact fees.
I went back and looked at the council minutes from 23. We're supposed to revisit this in August of 24. And after looking through the minutes, I didn't see anything where we did revisit this in August, September, October, any place in 24. So it came to mind because we are going through budget right now. And of course, impact fees are a piece of our budget that we. So I put together the email that I sent council separately showing what our current impact fees are on water and sewer. But New Gen, just to refresh memory, what New Gen had proposed in the also the table that's on the right, possible alternative impact fees, showing an increase, but not quite as much as New Gen had proposed. So that's something that Camille and I have worked on and discussed and came up with those things. So, or council may choose not to do anything at all right now, just leave it alone. So, but I think an important, I know everybody already knows this, but an important thing to remember on these impact fees is everything is costing the city more to operate, to build the projects. Impact fees are typically used for water and sewer projects that the city does. So all of that is beginning to cost us more as we try to do projects, yet our impact fees considerably in 23, August of 23. Study that they did was for the next 5-year period, or you're going to find yourself in a deficit, which we are on May 20th. I'll share some of that as we go through our budget. We've seen today now for the last 2 weeks. This is another piece of that. Now, impact fees does not directly impact operational budget, but it does impact project budget, if you will. So,
They recommended we move staggered approach, so not shock, or did we just
They're concerned about the increased fees. So primarily developers or local developers. Their intention was that it really impacted them a lot more than it did the larger developers, because larger developers spread this over a really large operation. But for them, each individual house they build is very significant. That's the for what that was seen and expressed by the local developers, which were the ones that came to the meeting and expressed their concerns.
so we opted, so we set them 14 months ago with that.
I do think that we still, we compared a lot to our surrounding counties, but in talking with all the mayors and managers, they have all increased their impact fees, or they're in the process of increasing their impact fees because it has gotten so costly. Water and sewer that they have had to, and so. We're more in the range, even if we increase them, than we would prior to the population.
All right.
especially the cost of materials that way.
Sure, everybody saw that email and what it actually calls for in FY 25, which will begin July 1. I'm not advocating for that at all. Just pointing that out as compared to the numbers that Bill and I had come up with. Yeah, on the right side of this. Yeah, 35, 4,000, 4,500.
It's an increase.
Yes, it is.
But I think that that's reasonable. Our next increase, next time around, should have to be this big, you know.
Line 2, every number there outside of the 3,500 for the 5/8 meter is considerably lower than what New England proposed. Well, it's 5/8, but they made it 3/4 on this, but it's typically 5/8.
The first table is what we are and what you suggest.
Yes,
The side by side. The first part is count, and then the second part is Newton's recommendation.
balance
Year
mark.
per year.
That's right.
It's on page 32 of our agenda.
It's summarized in page 44 in the proposed ordinance.
It's just the section 7, or all these sections. Okay.
It's an increase across the board.
No, what I mean was the actual language of the resolution for several sections. Finding section 1 and section 2, the actual.
We're adopting the entire resolution, but I don't know.
Okay, the 3/4.
They're typically 5/8. There are some folks that will put in a 1/8. But right.
Our plan's not huge.
Yeah, it's pretty much it. Sure. But keep in mind too, these impact fees are for new connections.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're from people already live here on the second, like in the second line of the house.
But
They would be affected, but our general public is not going to see this.
correct. Well, I'm sitting here thinking about this, and I'm wondering if the motion should approve already received
Oh,
a building permit to construct, although they may not have done they already have a permit, that should have been included in the permit.
that's fair. Because they've already had an active permit, and if they use it during, is it an old term with the permit?
Permits they issue.
Okay, so I think motion approved agenda item 9 as resolutions written in the agenda with the exception of if the permit has already been issued, they
Applicants already have. Permit.
can read. Dean Mitchell.
Yes.
Mike Fullerton.
Yes.
Marcy White. Yes. Carl Nell.
Yes. Within discussion of possible action, adoption resolution number 2025-03 for adjustment of sewer impact fees.
Nick Jackson.
Effect impact.
Okay. Motion to approve agenda item 10 as written in the resolution of the agenda with the exception of permits already issued with county rights.
Yes.
Dean Mitchell.
Yes.
Mike Fullerton.
Yes.
Marcy White. Yes. Carl Nell.
Yes. Under discussion of possible action on change the personnel policy regarding annual leave cash out.
Had a few personnel. Here recently, I've had 3 in the last 2 weeks. Without getting too personal on this, sometimes there are requests for cash out vacation leave. Sometimes those reasons are not necessarily yeah, I guess you could say. And currently policy gives the city manager the leniency direction he or she chooses. Problem is, passes out, everybody hears about it, and we get swamped.
Right.
So I had spoke to HR last week and asked her to put something together in policy that would give us a clear black and white guidance as to when, why cash outs are allowed.
When you define cash out, operational, what does it mean?
I'd like to buy, or I'd like the city to buy back 180 hours of vacation. You have to pay in that 180 hours if it's approved at the current hourly rate.
So they work, and they don't take vacation.
That's
Is
correct.
that past vacation or future?
No, it's accrued.
It's accrued.
Yes.
Any amount, all of that total?
Any amount, any,
The accrued management one?
no, they can only accrue up to 280 per year. Yeah. Oh, you can carry over.
What I have is we want to minimum dime to death, so we have to have have you thought about having a minimum before you can even ask to do that? Or can we do it?
We did not, I did set a maximum on 80 hours in the policy. That they can cash out. I mean, in the employee lives,
Right.
they
You would still keep that approval.
yes, there are, yeah, right at the very end of it, basically that some of these cases are instances where it's an immediate family need. That still gives a little more definition to it for me to determine, even though. But currently, it's, the determinant is absolutely, you can do this. The next guy comes in and says, well, now wait a minute. This employee is fine, why is mine not? So there's never been any type of set guidance on what to follow.
So all the wording actually in black is the new part. All the red that you just said right now, is that right?
That's
There's
right.
no obligation, cash out, they don't have to, now you're adding these correct.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yep.
no, that's good. I like the fact that they're pretty clear, things that can be easily verified. A lot of them. So that's a rarity and life happens, so.
Right. Snowball is a 3 or 4 people in a 2-week period.
It's a budget.
Yeah. It becomes your own question.
Right. Probably at least, I mean, like I can think of it definitely, because God forbid you should have to send a child to some rehab or something.
Sure.
Like, you know, I mean, that's one of the ones you think of that's other that hard and unexpected, and you can't plan for it.
Second to approve it, allowing you to make a living. Claiming the floor, the president of the board, president of the line, make a statement.
I think I put it in my city manager report, the new wastewater treatment plant. They're actually going to do a startup and start the testing May 27th over there. So I would expect probably within 30 days after the original startup. I think the actual startup time for it to be operational is July 5th, was it not?
I think it was a second schedule.
Okay. So I mean, we'll be getting close anyway, so it's coming up pretty quick. And we do not. I think
Not that I have a case.
Mayor's already extended the invitation.
They get a good season before we get out.
The better not snow.
Okay.
I just think it's around vacation time.
getting close on completing the 12-inch water all the way to Ross Drive on Southwest 24. Property owner, landowner over there, which I think is actually they've already got all the line. On the city's commercial development property, it's at 130. Something else I was going to ask you about, Jeff, on the that money could be used for infrastructure, commercial development that the city's doing. Discussed other funding avenues that we could possibly use to get that. kind of Janae's here, but it's kind of off track. Second, we're supposed to get the final plat. Should be getting fairly close to lots, rather than lots. Well, that's what I'm looking for. Hopefully, when the next couple of months we'll be ready to go.
That's why I was totally right. Thank you very much. Item number 14, any trustee comments? Motion second to none, all in favor say aye. Aye. I'm going to call the May 12, 2025 meeting of Newcastle City Council to order. First item on the agenda is roll call.
Mayor,
Yes.
Henry,
Yeah, here, sorry.
Here.
Marcy White.
Item number 2, discussion of possible on approval of the agenda.
Mayor, motion to
Second for approval of the agenda.
here. All right. Yeah.
Fuller,
Yes.
Marcy White. Yes.
Yes. Item number 3, citizen comments. It's an opportunity for any citizen on any matter related to the city of Newcastle that is on the agenda. Once again, I'm the speaker, I'll speak the structure station and the record. Comments on the agreement for person on the opportunity. Councilman remarks on comments or questions. The mayor may hear that with discussion and prior authorization to part of this material once we approach the council. The comments and public comments in the city of Newcastle regarding not only regarding any member of council regarding the removal
Yes. Mike Fuller.
Yes.
Marcy White. Yes. Carl.
Yes. Item number 5, discussion of possible action on any items removed from the consent item. Item number 6, discussion of possible action, recommendation of the planning commission. Item 6A, discussion of possible action, planning commission recommendation to approve amendment to the final plat of council court site development plan for cross access and grading, property location, south end corner, in North United States Place and North Main Street. That's the question.
Good evening, council members. Today we're going to meet with the Newcastle Planning Department. This item is the Castle Court Final Plat Site Development Plan. This was approved by council previously with the site plan. They came in to change a couple things. That's why we're back before you this evening. They would like to eliminate the cross-access on the frontage of the property, which is on the west side of the property facing Main Street. They would like to eliminate it between lots 2 and 3. They will maintain cross-access to the rear of the property on the east side. And the second thing that they would like to do is, you'll notice here they've eliminated the hammerhead, and that is because they will have through traffic on lot number 4. Those are the two changes. It was significant because it was presented on that site development plan. I wanted to bring it back before council to make sure that council members were aware that they wanted to eliminate that cross-access and the frontage between lots 2 and 3. It's a turnaround at the end, so it looks like basically a hammerhead at the end of a drive. And instead of the need for that, they do have through traffic that will be allowed through lot 4. The planning commission did make recommendation with one contingency that they requested was to add a third lane to the north access onto Main Street. However, with discussions after planning commission with their engineer, they have a little bit of concern whether ODOT will approve that because they do have the 3-lane access onto Main Street from the south entrance. I'm happy to answer any questions. The applicant is here with his engineer and architect as well. Yes, this is 4 different lots. So lot 1 and 2 will have maintained the cross access in the front. Lot 3 and 4 will maintain the cross access in the front. And then all of them will have the rear cross access on the east drive.
From curiosity, if customers enter the entrance on the south end, they have access only.
Unless they go through, there is a way to get through to the back and to come over to lot 1 and 2. No, and the dumpsters are located so the trash can be easily picked up by each one of these and back up and pull in. The dumpster location is here. This is a 2-lane, 2-way in the back.
Well, so this one is there an exit into 19?
Mm-hmm. Yep, here and here.
Totally similar to the state of flying over more, you can get behind those now. 5 over now.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's as convenient, but it still provides the access to the occupancy so people don't have to up to do it. Yeah.
Well, and also, you have 2 that are running on the front of the west end of the building. They can speed through and past all 4 buildings. Can't go far you want.
It's true.
If I could comment, I'd just like commission request for the 3 exits on the northern section, because this change will direct the real flow of traffic will be in off of 62 into the development. And we had having a left turn lane for both groups, south group and the north exit. But when you change the interconnectability, and it's an elevation like you're doing this, is that we're going to have a pretty steep step between those lots. But on the north exit's going to be out onto, or the double place. And it was our hope that by having a left turn lane, we'd make a preferential way traffic out of this to line up there rather than blocking on my place. But that's, and that's the reason we asked for that. And it may not be possible, but we thought traffic.
Comments concerning this agenda item?
Can I speak on behalf of the applicant?
Yeah, we get public comment real quick and then we'll take this thing. Public comment? All right, remember that. Take your name and address for the record.
Good evening. I'm Dan Androlanis with Smith Roberts Baldwin-Schweiler. We're the civil engineers for the project. Our office is at 2500 McGee Drive in Norman. And we appreciate the Planning Commission's concern, but what I would say is we have the ODOT permits in place for the 2 drives as shown. And initially, when I tried to get these 2 permits, I was told, well, no, you can either have 1 wide drive or 2 narrow ones. And so discussion and talking with them, they relented, let us have the wider drive on the south and the narrow one on the north. So I'm not very optimistic that we'll be able to get ODOT approval to widen that drive out on the north. And we think the movements are going to be okay. We went to great pains to make sure that track trucks could get in and out without having to back up. And fire access is good, so we would request approval with the drives that I've shown.
Okay.
Just go out to the 19th and then have to turn right. But maybe we should do options there, right?
That's my fault. We do have night, we've already posted that, so there are a couple options. And I disagree with what Dan said. Well, probably be a significant delay from back to ODOT by the time they ran it through. And I doubt it agree as well. But you're having lots of conversations about driveway access. So anyway. Not preferred, not what we have originally, but I think it does work.
Well, then they have the investment made. I'll make a motion to approve item 6.
And Ray?
Yes.
Dr. Nicole?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Dr. Mark? Yes.
Item 16, special fund budget, planning commission recommendation for amendment to the plan use map from suburban residential to general commercial to capital Williams County LLC. Section 20, Township 9 North, Range 4, area, Plain County, Oklahoma, property address 3151 Southwest 16th Street.
Again, Jeanette Riley with the Newcastle Planning Department. The next two items, and then the 6C as well, 6D as well, are all tied together. This is basically a correction to the 2040 future land use map that was not properly adopted, and the plan and the comprehensive plan with the future land use map in January of 2024. What sparked this is that Mr. Caffey had called to ask about the PUD at 3151 Southwest 16, making sure that the land use matched his current zoning, and I found out that it was suburban residential was placed on his lot there, which it is a PUD. It's with CN1 uses and some minor variations through that PUD, but it's a commercial PUD. And so we went through and did the correct land use map. Notification was placed in the Newcastle Pacer, and while I was there, I noticed that this next item that is C on the agenda is the same thing. Suburban residential was placed on the Mason property. I'm just letting you know that, so I'm not making a double presentation on both these, but they're both basically the same thing. So it's a correction to the future land use map, placing general commercial on these two parcels, so it will match with the zoning. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Pretty self-explanatory. The questions will be done. No, I already done it.
Make a motion for agenda item 6B as written.
Motion on second? Second. Motion second for approval on number 6B?
James Reed.
Yes.
Todd DeMeco.
Yes.
Mike Fullerton.
Yes.
Marcy White. Yes. Carl Lamb.
Yes. Item 6C, discussion of possible action, planning commission recommendation for amendment to the 2040 future land use map from suburban residential to general commercial for Mason Storage LLC, located in section 29, Township 9 North, Range 4 West Indian Meridian, McLean County, Oklahoma, property address 3120 Southwest 16th Street.
same thing.
Make a motion to approve agenda item 6D.
Second.
Motion second to approve item number 6C.
Gene Reed,
Yes.
Todd DeMeco,
Yes.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Marcy White, yes, Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 6D, discussion of possible action on adoption of resolution 2025-04, amending classifications of real estate parcels in element 2040 future land use map from suburban residential to general commercial parcel locations 3151 Southwest 16th Street and 3120 Southwest 16th Street.
Make a motion to approve agenda item 6D.
Motion have a second?
Second.
Motion second to approve item number 6D.
Gene Reed,
Yes.
Todd DeMeco,
Yes.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Marcy White, yes, Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 6E, public hearing, discussion, and possible action on the application for rezoning for PUD ordinance number 894, plan unit development. The PUD plan unit development for R&R Land Development LLC located in the southwest quarter of section 33, township 10 north, range 4 in Meridian, McLean County, Oklahoma. Property address, Northwest 32nd Street, Riverfront Drive, Newcastle, Oklahoma. Case number R2025-005. This item has been continued by the Planning Commission. Make a motion to continue this for our next regularly scheduled meeting.
Second.
Motion second for continuance.
Gene Reed,
Yes.
Todd DeMeco,
Yes.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Marcy White, yes, Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 6F, discussion and possible action on adoption of ordinance number 993, amending the Newcastle Code of Ordinances, Chapter 150.11C5, International Residential Code, IRC, adopted regarding regulations for planting of trees on certain residential lots within the city of Newcastle.
This ordinance amendment will amend Chapter 150, the building code chapter regarding planting of trees within Newcastle for new building permits that come in for single-family residential. It will affect the E1, 2, 3, and RF1 and RF2 districts. It will require one tree per planted in the front yard. If you're a corner lot, it would require two. It should be a minimum 2-inch caliber tree from the Oklahoma Proven Tree List. There'll be no trees in the public right-of-way or within 5 feet of any public easement. The tree location and species will be cited on the building permit site plan, so staff can review that and make sure that it lists the Oklahoma Proven Tree. If they don't pick that, they can obviously come to us and say, hey, we want to plant X species, and we take a look at it and make sure. We just want trees that are going to thrive here. The reason that we're doing this is so that all new single-family homes will have at least one tree planted in their front yard. It doesn't require the residents who purchase the home to keep the tree. If they want to remove the tree, they can. There's no provision if they would like to not have the tree, but having a Oklahoma Proven Shade Tree can help with passive solar, reduce electricity bills, give you shade on the streets or close to the streets. But we bring this forward so that all new homes in Newcastle will have a tree in the front yard. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Is there any public comment concerning this agenda item? Anybody like, please? Okay. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve agenda item 6F.
Motion have a second? Second. Motion second for approval of agenda item 6F.
Gene Reed,
Yes.
Todd DeMeco,
Yes.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Marcy White, yes, Carl Nell.
Yes.
I guess if they don't want the tree, they can't put it in the bar ditch, though, can they?
No, they can't. That's coming next.
Item number 6G, discussion of possible action on adoption of the emergency clause, ordinance number 993.
Motion to approve agenda item 6G.
Second. Motion second for approval item number 6G.
Gene Reed,
Yes.
Todd DeMeco,
Yes.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Marcy White, yes, Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 6H, discussion of possible action on planning commission recommendation to adopt ordinance number 994, amending the Newcastle Code of Ordinances, chapter 153, subdivision, section 153.054 easements drainage, by adding a new subsection 153.054F, Establishing modifications to open drainage channels.
This is an amendment to Chapter 153.054F easements drainage. Currently, we have in our ordinance that property owners are responsible for their bardages and maintaining those bardages. And we end up getting a lot of complaints. We have people that want to modify their bardages. They fill in their bardages. They will put screenings over their tin horns. And then we are getting a call from the neighbor and such. Or we have people that come in and say, I don't want a bar ditch. I don't need one. I really want to be exempt from this requirement. We require an 18-inch tin horn on roads that do not have curb and gutter and that are bar ditches. This ordinance amendment, our streets department superintendent, John Canary, worked on this and worked with planning department to come up with this to put a little bit of teeth behind that. So that way, if they do want to modify it and go against the ordinance, they have to have a study by an engineer, have a drainage analysis done showing that the proposed modifications will in fact work at that location. And then also, the other thing that this ordinance does is that there is enforcement and penalties when people do modify their ditches, and we're not spending a lot of staff time going out and making sure that, the property owner filled in his ditch and has to go back and remediate it, and we're going back and working with them. Hey, you got to get this done. It allows us to give fines and penalties to that. So staff recommends approval of this ordinance amendment to 153.054, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
The two neighborhoods where this is why we need this. Well, and modern day, we can tell from imaging when things have been changed, because I don't want to penalize somebody who's already been done fitting it in, but we can tell from imaging these days when it's happened, so that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had our hair pulled out over this over the last few years. So this is necessary.
And yet, I'm sure there are lots and lots of people who aren't conscious of what they're doing when they do it too.
Right.
So I don't know, maybe we might have maybe Mark can do a little bit of essay on it or a story on it and let people know that, why we're doing it, and because we're real familiar with where it is a problem, and sometimes those people have made that change 10 years ago. So,
There's areas where, maybe one neighbor along put a tin horn or a combination of tin horns across the entirety of the front of their lot, and it's working, but what happens when it quits working? Whose responsibility is it to maintain that drainage system that's underground, not the city's?
Right.
So, Carl, in saying that, would they, in the example you gave, if someone put a tin horn in lieu of the bar ditch, if they don't maintain it, would the city probably say they're responsible for just taking that out, even if it's working? Or, I mean, it probably wouldn't be an issue if it's working, but
probably not. But if it fails and then it starts undermining our road, we're not.
They should return it to its original design of the drainage ditch.
I think I'll leave that.
Part of our city by doing this, or let's either call it planted development. Would this apply to a non-planted development?
Yeah. Yes, anything, and of course it's because anything that could destroy city road, undermine the city road, or section line, or whatever it may be. And it could, maybe the people would be on acreage. I mean.
Well, this specifically says platted subdivision, though. Do we want to say it differently then?
Is that,
It shouldn't say, because I changed it, so,
It's right under the date on page 125. It says within platted subdivisions in the city of Newcastle. Because I agree, Jake.
well, on my, okay, so I would have to look at the resolution for that, the ordinance.
Oh, okay.
Because I have it as designated, maybe you got a old ordinance in that packet, and I
Well,
apologize.
it's not the
Cover
ordinance,
the
it's like
agenda,
the memo.
on the agenda items.
Because on ours, on the ordinance that we modified, it's designated on the approved plat or any lot or parcel containing an open drainage channel.
Okay, I was
Shall
reading the
not
memo.
redesign, alter, fill, or enclose any portion of the drainage channel without obtaining prior written approval from the city.
Okay, yeah, I'm
So-
good. I was reading the page above, it says on the page above, but that's not the official place, so
Okay.
you're good.
Yeah, in the ordinance, I know that I had made some changes because it did say that. And I'm like, no, we need to have it to where it's any parcel with an open ditch.
Yep,
Mhm.
okay.
It says that on page one.
Yeah, you're good. I see it
Okay.
now, yep.
Okay.
That's where the official spot is, so you're good.
So that's a good point. Enterprises or developers who are putting theirs in, if someone downstream is blocking that water flow, it's going to reflect upon the new development, which it shouldn't. So I'm liking that.
So are we taking into consideration when they do fill a ditch with a pipe underneath it, where's that water going from that lot? Where's it draining to? I mean, all as I've seen it, it goes across the front of their lot and then just exit on the other side of their lot through the ditch. They're not taking it anywhere but just across the normal drainage, they just do it through a pipe rather than an open ditch.
Well, yeah, but that's the water that's upstream of them. But the water that's at their house, that's
Coming off their home.
they're coming off their home.
They've taken away
Yeah, but there's no area inlets in those pipes a lot of times.
That's true.
Right. No, you're right. I see.
Yeah, I
Unless they
prime
put a-
example right in front of my house.
Unless they put something, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's what this ordinance does. If somebody does that and modifies it, because it has to be an 18-inch. Are you saying take the bar ditch away and they put a pipe underneath it and then they fill the ditch in over the top of it?
So then they
Yeah.
would wash off of their property.
he's talking about catching water that comes off their
off
gutters or driveway or whatever.
Yeah.
There's nowhere for it
There's
to go.
nowhere for it to go.
Yeah, because the bar ditch.
That wouldn't be
is all-
allowed. It's not allowed on our open ditch
Well, we got
ordinance.
it all over town.
Well, we have it.
We have it now.
Those people that call and make a complaint, then we would do code enforcement. We would go out, we'd do the inspection if it's been modified, and their neighbors call and complain. That's how we deal, is all complaint basis.
This is what we need.
We can go out and take a look and say, oh, this does not meet our regulation. You need to follow the regulation for your bar ditch.
So we won't be looking for it. We will only deal with it if and when we get.
When we get calls.
Yeah.
Now, when somebody comes in for a building permit and
Well, yeah.
they say, well, I don't want to put a bar ditch in.
Yeah.
Well, you have to, and if you want to get an engineering study done that shows that you don't need that, then get an engineer and bring that to us.
Yeah, sure. Reasonable.
Or make sure that your yard slopes towards your house.
Right. I'm thinking, not many instances where you're not
Yeah.
gonna need it.
Right.
Any public comment concerning this agenda item? Okay.
I move to approve item 6H.
Second. Motion second for approval of item number 6H.
That was Todd. I know, I can't tell the voices as good as I can tell.
I think
Him and Tommy or him and Kimberly.
I think maybe I fit mine.
Mine's a little rough right now.
Yeah, I know. Fred.
Very white thing going.
Yes.
Todd DeMico,
Yes.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Marcy White, Carl Nell.
Yes. Item 6I, discussion of possible action on adoption of the emergency clause, ordinance number 994.
Move to approve item 6I.
Second. Motion second for approval of item number 6I.
Gene Reed,
Yes.
Todd DeMico,
Yes.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Marcy White, Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 7, discussion of possible action on award of bid for the Walker Drive Extension, Bridge C, and authorization to issue notice to proceed upon receipt of approved contract documents.
Bridge C is the longest bridge of the Walker Street extension over there. Haskell Lemon come in as the low bidder on this. I believe that Kraft and Toll is recommending the low bid on the project. All total, this project is we're purchasing materials, as I've said before, based on county bid. As I put in my email, I believe it was, the summary of the agenda. It appears this project total is going to come in somewhere between $550,000 and $600,000 total for this bridge. So, I mean, I think we're in pretty good shape. We were hoping that labor would come in a little bit cheaper, but once again, things are going up, including personnel costs. So, and Haskell Lemon is, of course, they're a well-known group been around for many, many, many years. So, we're ready to get this project done. I'm hoping, with council approval, we'll get a notice to proceed out tomorrow, and we're going to be pushing as hard as we can to get this project done before the end of fiscal year.
Really?
Yes, it's been the goal the whole time.
Get it done.
So when we go have the ribbon cutting for the waste treatment facility, we walk down and look at the new bridge.
That's right.
So this is true?
Kevin, does this push Walker all the way north up to the street with the treatment?
Yeah.
Yes, eventually, yes. Eventually it'll all connect all the way to 16.
And you may say this is the longest bridge. Is this the first one we're doing also?
It is.
You said, okay.
And Kraft and Toll is currently actually working on engineering for the other two.
Okay.
So we're hoping to get those done and get those lit in 25-26 fairly quickly after this bridge is completed. Hopefully get that bid out, select the bidder. If it's the one on site, we go right into the second and third bridge. And we budgeted for that for this next year.
I'll ask a second level question about Walker, if it's just slightly away from that bridge. Not on the agenda.
I'm sorry?
No, that's Walker.
Well, I'll ask it and you tell me if we can't talk. Have we visualized what fans will do to Walker as the current portion of Walker? Will we make that wider, better?
No, the current portion will not be able to
This
be
is mostly
modified.
just extend.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
And the extension portion will be much wider and better.
Yes.
The product for your information that gets and show the ground. The goal will then be to bring traffic coming to the ECC and middle school, elementary school, ECC and middle school, 116th, stack on 16th, stack on Walker, and instead of entering off of 62. And so clean up 62 traffic in the mornings and the afternoon.
That's where I was headed. Yeah.
Can't have them fast enough.
We've been working on this for a few years now to try to.
Once you can just visualize that connecting, you can see some of that just starting working its way over there,
Right.
working itself out.
And we're hopeful at that point in time that we'll get enough cross traffic doing that on 16th Street that we can warrant the signalization of that intersection at MoDOT, because they will not allow it now because there's not enough cross traffic on there. So we'll get a signal or a traffic circle with you.
We're going to see a lot more cross traffic there. When they start working on the bridge at 24th, though, we're going to get a lot more traffic at 16th. People are going to have to go 16th instead of 24th. My name is People. I mean, I'm thinking about my route to my house.
Yeah.
It's true, though.
Drive right by the Carl's house.
Yeah, it'll just be a lot more people going that way.
There will be.
So we'll see. We're working on it.
Entertain a motion.
Motion for agenda item 7.
Second.
Motion second for approval item number 7. Selecting.
I was selecting Haskell Lemon. Sorry about at the 315,800.
Second as well on the
Second.
Jean Reed.
Yes.
Kathy Amico.
Yes.
Mike Fullerton.
Yes.
Marcy White. Yes. Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 8, discussion of possible action for
Want the award letter? You want the award?
Yeah, just get it to Camille, and she'll get it sent to them.
Discussion of possible action for the change of name on service availability water service agreement between the City of Newcastle and the Newcastle Public Works Authority as supplier and Tribal Utilities LLC as purchaser, changing the name of Tribal Utilities LLC, Rural Water and Sewer District Number 9, McLean County, Oklahoma, as purchaser.
Who did this before? I move to approve item 8.
Second. Jean and Mike. Gave you, thank you.
Jean Reed,
Yes.
Todd DeMonico.
Yes.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Marcy White.
Yes.
Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 9, discussion of possible action on request from Rural Water and Sewer District number 9, McLean County, Oklahoma, for modification of certain availability of water service agreements between the city of Newcastle Public Works Authority, and Rural Water and Sewer District number 9, McLean County, Oklahoma, to increase the data reservation amount from 13,060 gallons a day to 15,000 gallons per day.
Move to approve item 9.
Remember, this one had the contingency.
Yeah, it's one that Marcy wrote.
8 weeks.
Oh, you got it.
It's the same motion again,
You
isn't
did
it?
again?
Yeah.
Or you can just say the same one with the public works.
Yes, and then do that.
That. I move to approve as noted in the previous motion.
Second.
Motion second for approval of item number 9, exactly the same as the motion in public works.
Jean Reed,
Yes.
Todd DeMonico,
Yes.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Marcy White.
Yes.
Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 10, discussion of possible action on approval of street and road projects for fiscal year 2025, 26.
I handed these out. These were
Go.
sent to me early this afternoon by the street department. This is not a full list of projects, although it is about $1,038,000 worth.
You sure that's not all?
Not all. To add into that, and the reason that he did not put these others on there that we had discussed are not technically projects. They're engineering fees and things of that nature, full projects that will be coming up. And of course, 2 of those are the bridges we just discussed just a minute ago. I believe one, if I'm not mistaken, Bridge A is a 40-foot bridge, and Bridge B is a 65-foot bridge. So we're estimating, we don't have estimates on those yet because they are under engineering. We're estimating $600,000 for both of those. That would be labor and materials on both those projects. We then have engineering that is taking place on Northwest 24th between the overpass and Country Club. CEC is doing that engineering. That would come out of this. Well, it would come out of the 70%, but it's stuff that's going into Fund 4
They're busy
projects.
over there. They're up there all the time.
Yes, very, very, very busy.
Yeah.
Another piece of this that is a project that we had discussed, but it got overlooked in these sheets, is phase 2 of the ridge drainage.
Oh, yeah.
That has got to get done before anything else gets done at all.
Yeah.
And that's about a $750,000 finish to get that finished
Are we
up.
in phase 1?
We are in phase 1. It still has not completed. We're pushing very, very hard for phase 1 to get completed in this budget year.
Okay.
They've been working on it now for quite a while, long time.
I've driven through a couple of times.
Have those neighbors already start seeing some relief of work done so far?
You know, I don't know that we had any kind of complaints at all during that 13 inches of rain.
And not at City Hall, and John never mentioned this,
Yeah. So there's got to be some,
yeah.
got to be some things happening over there. That's been really good. Yeah. And then, of course, the projects that are here, Bradford 1, 2, and 3, they're in pretty bad shape.
A question on that, it says 2-inch mill. Is the county doing the milling, or you don't have any, you just have laying asphalt on here?
Yeah, he'll bring county in the mill.
County will mill,
Yep.
okay, that's what.
Yep. I'll share something there.
No.
So that's pretty much it. Now, I had calculated total projects at about 2.6 million, a little over 2.6 million. I don't know that we'll have funding to complete all of this, every one of these projects. If not, some of those projects get pushed on to the next year. But they're already in the system, ready to go, and these are the ones that the street department feels is most important for FY 25-26. And of course, like I said, the ridge, we know that has to get done without a doubt. And then the 2 bridges, we believe if it is possible to get these two bridges done, and they're bid on by the same contractor, and then that contractor gets the bid, may not, I don't know. We think there may be some possibility there for some saving, but we'll see. Right, that's right.
That's good. I know I'm just ready for you to put out a very detailed instructions on what we do when we oil and chip, and
Right.
everybody knows what's going on there, so
We've had some really good public, I don't know who does them, but notices of things that are going on, and it really helps. Thank you very much. I wondered if Scott really didn't want to say. Yeah, no, all those you can do are great, because even like on the ditch thing, as Gene was saying, some education maybe would be really good. Because honestly, like, I wouldn't think, I know my husband would, but he doesn't count. Like, I wouldn't think of those kind of things. Well, he's a utility guy. But I wouldn't think of those kind of things, and I know a lot of people wouldn't. And no, we won't catch everybody, but it shows we're making a really good faith effort to do it. And we've gotten really, really lately, it's been fabulous, honestly. And people are reposting them and showing.
I've got some recaps, letting it
Yeah.
It's helpful.
So thank you, Scott.
Good job, Scott. Yeah, I think we're the best we've ever been from those using social media to communicate things out there.
Yeah.
and no matter what you put on there, there's going to be somebody that's going to put something on there
Sure.
anti, but that's okay.
That's okay.
The both appreciate what's being put out.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions on the road project? Entertain motion.
Motion to approve agenda item 10.
Second. Motion second for approval of item number 10.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Todd DeMeco.
Yes.
Mike Fullerton.
Yes.
Marcy White.
Yeah, Carl Miller.
Yes. Item number 11, discussion of possible action on reappointment of Gordon Harness to the Newcastle Economic Development Authority for a 5-year term expiring May 2030. I'll make that motion. Second. Motion second for approval of item number 11.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Todd DeMeco.
Yes.
Mike Fullerton.
Yes.
Marcy White.
Yeah.
Carl Miller.
Yes. Item number 12, discussion of possible action on reappointment of Kimberly Sutton to the Newcastle Oversight Committee for a 5-year term expiring February 2030. Make that motion.
Second.
Motion second for approval of item number 12.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Todd DeMeco.
Yes.
Mike Fullerton.
Yes.
Marcy White.
Yes.
Carl Miller.
Yes. Item number 13, acknowledging the mayor's declaration of disaster emergency in the city of Newcastle caused by recent heavy rain, flooding, and severe storms.
Yeah, the state, Governor Stitt finally did add McLean County to the state's declaration. And immediately, and Donnie is here too, he can speak to this more, but he immediately, contacted me and said, hey, they added McLean County. We contacted Carl, kind of put together a real quick declaration from the city, and he got it sent off to them, uploaded on their website. Everything is done electronically with them is it WebEOC or?
Yes.
Okay. So he's been out taking pictures, working with the street department, to locate the damages and things of that nature, and he's taking pictures and getting them uploaded to the site. We have to meet McLean County, all of the damages in McLean County have to meet a certain threshold of damage cost of damages. If we do not meet that cost of damages, there will be no funding. You have to meet that threshold before there's actually consideration for funding. It's been said in the past, well, cities or towns, whatever, can, if the county doesn't want to file, cities and towns can file on their own. Well, that's fine, but you still have to meet the threshold. Same threshold. So, hopefully, and I don't know, Donnie, have they set a time as to when all of the information has to be submitted?
So we're having a workshop in Chickasha Wednesday and Thursday. They're supposed to announce something during that workshop. Hopefully then.
Yeah. PA workshop.
Yeah, but we've taken all the pictures as far north as Northwest 40th and Council, and as far south as Southwest 32nd May.
I guess the Great Chasm of Blanchard was Grady County's.
Yes.
Was that up? It was Grady's. Darn it. We had a good chunk. Mike hosted the one on council, but did it mess up anything on 76 for like construction, or did that go under construction?
We didn't have any reports from John, no, but they've been doing great as far as keeping track of their time and labor and just in case.
That was a mess of rain.
Does that include, like us having to go in there and clean out at the edges of the boxes on the upstream side? Does that include that all the tree limbs and trash that come down?
All the debris?
All the debris?
Yes. So I've taken extensive pictures of all the debris that's clogged up the tin horns and all that stuff and caused the washouts, so they can kind of document that and see here's what needs to be repaired, here's what's caused it. And I've taken pictures of after they've repaired it too, before and after.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
Some kind of rain.
Yeah, the last 30-day total, I just pulled it up, for us is 15.6 inches, the last 30 days.
Of rain? We went to Denison Dam yesterday, and that was unbelievable, so I believe it's all getting down there now. Oh, it's a lot of rain. Good deal, way to stay on it.
Any other questions or comments? Entertain a motion.
No action.
Oh, there's no action, just acknowledgement.
Yeah.
$17, I guess we've acknowledged. So item number 14, discussion of possible action on approval of employees' health, dental, vision, and life insurance plans.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion second to approve item number 14.
Gene Reed?
Yes.
Todd DeMeco?
Yes.
Mike Fullerton?
Yes.
Marcy White? Yes. Carl Nell?
Yes. Item number 15, discussion of possible action on change the personnel policy regarding annual leave cash out.
I have a motion to approve agenda item 15.
Yes. Second.
Motion second for approval of item number 15 presented.
Gene Reed?
Yes.
Todd DeMeco?
Yes.
Mike Fullerton?
Yes.
Marcy White? Yes. Carl Nell?
Yes. Item number 16, city manager comments.
I know Jeannie and I cannot hardly wait for the 20th to get here. To do our budget meeting with everybody.
I'm right there with you now.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
We have rolled this budget around, probably more so this year than we have in any other year.
Yeah.
I'm sure council members, or a few of you may have seen Oklahoma City, asking departments to cut 4.5% of their budgets. PD and fire taking 1.5% cuts. It's that way all over the state, and we acknowledge that. We made some changes were made actually today to the budget, just to try to put us in a better position. I think we're going to be fine. We're not Oklahoma City. We're not anybody else. Yes, we have seen reductions. Right now, we are 2.76% below budgeted revenues for the year. Last month, we were 2.57. So it has gotten just a tiny bit worse, not real bad. I firmly believe we're coming back up. This month was better than last month, although we're down compared to the same time last year. So, but I do believe it's on the way back up, and we got some things that will be helping us out in the future, in the near future. So, but this budget, for one reason or another, it feels very critical to me.
Mm-hmm.
That we do everything we can to minimize our expenditures, and we have cut operations pretty low.
Yeah.
They're not to where departments won't be able to function, but I don't think there is a single ounce of fluff in any portion of that budget. So, on another note, talking about all the flooding, we had some meetings with ODOT down on Harvey in the last couple of weeks, and Harvey backed up really, really bad during all of the first portion of that rain, and then the second portion that came in where we got, I think it was 1.6 or 7 in a day, something like that, here last week or 2 weeks ago. But come to find out, our friends with ODOT decided to block up the channel that drains underneath the I-35 overpass. They put in a crossover road to go across that drainage channel right up next to the overpass so they could drive their equipment back and forth while they're working on the bridge as part of the I-35 Highway 9 project. The first time they did that, they didn't put a tin horn underneath it. And we had a meeting on a Thursday morning.
Still my new ordinance.
A week ago Thursday, was it not? A week ago Thursday morning, we had a meeting down there with them. When we got down there, John went with us, street superintendent, and he immediately got out of the truck and looked, and he said, Kevin, something is different. Because he had been down there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday watching it.
Right.
And he said, this water's flowing. Yesterday it was stagnant. So they went in there prior to us and took out that road. And then put 4 pumps in place to pump the water underneath the overpass.
They found their oopsie.
They told us that. That's on a Thursday, a week ago Thursday. Monday morning, come back in, and I'm getting emails again from one of the businesses down there that they're flooding. That's when we had that rain. I don't remember what day it was. Anyway, went down there and they built the road back. Only this time they put in a 36-inch single tin horn in the middle of their cover, their field, to try to drain the water, and it was going nowhere.
So the left hand built the new channel, but the right hand took the one.
Yeah. And it was backing up all on Harvey Street again. So the next day, because I contacted ODOT again immediately, and they said that they were going to send out the contractor to put in a second 36-inch tin horn to allow it to drain. All the while they were sitting down there telling our superintendent, it's the city's problem because your tin horns underneath Harvey are not big enough. We had 2 36-inch tin horns already under Harvey, and they were trying to drain it with one. Wow. But it was our fault. Needless to say, the conversation was interesting on Harvey that morning. Not bad. I mean, it wasn't confrontational or anything, but the city was, you know, I'm sure this is all over YouTube, but the city was played. We were played on that deal.
We have enough trouble without their help with Harvey and with drainage. Yeah. I mean, we've always had trouble with it. I mean,
the landowner on the east side of I-35, motocross track, things of that nature, when they did cut that road, he got all of our water. In a hurry. And it filled one of his buildings with 2 foot of water.
Yeah, it's pretty wet over there. I looked at it the other day. I saw that.
So he immediately got in conversation with him, with his attorney. And supposedly, I heard last week, Thursday of last week, from that landowner, he called me, and he said that he was getting a ditch cut all the way to the river on the east side of 35 by ODOT or their contractors, and he is getting a retaining wall built along his road. And he said, Kevin, you guys need to push for the exact same thing. I said, we'll see. But
well, that would be helpful, but it did get into some of the businesses on Harvey Street.
It did.
Yeah. And it hasn't done that in a long, long time.
Yeah.
So we just give them ODOT's phone number?
Well, one business owner, I did tell him who I had conversation with. After that last time, I said, here you go.
Right.
So are they going to fix the cattail problem underneath the...
They didn't do a thing with those cattails out there, and well, it was funny because right off Harvey Street, we came back out on Harvey and drove down that way, sat there on the bridge, and John said, well, this has changed too. They cut out just a narrow path of cattails so the water would flow, which is what we were asking them to do, was to take it all out. And they were telling us on the phone that it was our problem. It was the city's problem. No, it's not. I mean, we've dealt with this. And a year and a half ago, we had a Teams meeting, a pre-construction meeting about the I-35 and 9. And I was on that meeting, and I asked the contractor, and I asked ODOT, what is your consideration that you're giving to the drainage issue? And I was more or less told to shut up on that meeting, that this is not part of the conversation, and we're not going to discuss that. And I said, it most certainly is part of the conversation, and when we have flooding down there, we're going to be contacting you. And sure enough, we came to that point. So.
We need our attorney to contact.
Anyway, that's my great news for the city.
Thanks. That's our moneymaker down there. We gotta take care of that area.
Well, that's very important. Those businesses deserve to, one of those businesses had to close down for 3 days. That's not right.
Can they even, did the road flood? Did they access it during all that rain?
They couldn't even access it.
I was wondering if they flooded
Trucks
out.
pushing water up a pile on the motors.
Yeah, I was wondering. I figured it probably was
Now,
that.
all this being said, we are still in process with the engineering study for drainage of that entire area that is being funded by the Chickasaw Nation,
Yeah.
the Corps of Engineers. So we're just kind of getting started on that. It's going to be a little bit, but we're hopeful they will come up with a much better solution for the entire area. Because what we've had down there, I don't know how many meetings we've had with ODOT down there, a lot over the years, and nothing's gotten really any better. And so we're very hopeful that this will help us find a solution that will allow us to move water off down there and make sure we can rebuild Harvey that it will last and keep the water out of those buildings.
That's all that.
Item number 17, council member comments.
I got approached, and not to add this to Donnie's list, unfortunately, some residents that live on I can't think of the street name, but it's the next street west of Coachella, of 76. It's straight west of Coachella there.
Sequoia.
All your,
Or a switchgrass.
whispering,
I just know that Miss McCusick lives on that street. And she was saying that they got really flooded over there, and they felt like it was coming mostly from something wasn't working at Coachella. But you got to understand it. We had all the rain in the world. Something flooded their street really bad. I don't know what caused it or anything. Just
I mean, I will say I did drive down, I think it's Whispering Lane. You're talking about off of Southwest 16th and 76,
Yeah.
just west of Coachella. Yeah.
Yes.
I drove down Sequoia, I drove down Whispering Lane, and
I just know
as far as what I saw, there wasn't
street.
any debris. And I did push it on social media for people to report, damage.ok like that.
Yeah, that's Whispering.
Carl, I have a question. I think I understood you shared a comment or two about some of our vision for Northwest 24th Street, widen it not only to Country Club but a little ways west.
Right.
What's our interest in doing any additional west?
Basically, just going about 300 feet probably west or so we can 4-lane that intersection.
Okay.
It's not to really take because we can't really go much further west, but we want to fully make that intersection 4-lane for movement of traffic through the intersection.
Okay, so you don't want it to narrow into a narrow spot.
Right, so it's basically just extending 300 feet or so to the west. That intersection won't be that way.
I think
So it's actually between 350 and 400.
Okay, I don't know where we ended up on that, but and so the same landowner on both sides of the road has agreed to provide that.
Very good.
Are they already? Or they just agreed? I can't remember.
No, they agreed to it, but we are quickly coming up on it. We haven't reached already our 5-year requirement.
Okay.
That if we hadn't widened by then, that easement reverted back to the property owner.
So we'll have to ask again.
But and with the 24th Street, we'll go ahead and go through Country Club on that, which will be the first one that we do. Any other council member comments? All right. Item number 18 is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There again. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.